People often think that to earn respect, you need to have a certain degree, earn certain amount of money, or hold a high status position. While those things have their own place, none of them can guarantee you the kind of respect you truly want. Most people chase respect based on how they think others perceive them. But the real question is, how do you actually earn respect from others without seeking validation? The truth is, you don't need external achievements to be respected, and it all comes down to a few powerful mindset shifts. I personally believe that it is you who, through your actions, make others respect you, and that only shows how much power you hold in any situation. Whether it is friendships, relationships, or your colleagues, the thing about respect is that you'll be often tested on why they should respect you more. Hello, my name is Tanvi, and in this video I'm going to share how to make anyone respect you by shifting the way you think and carry yourself. I know the urge we all have to prove that we are a nice person. So you constantly go out of your way doing things so that you are seen as a nice person in the eyes of others. But that need to be seen as a nice person often turns into people pleasing. You start thinking that I need to prove my niceness so they'll approve of me. But the very moment you're seeking someone else's approval, you hand over your power. You put others above you as if they are the ones who get to decide your worth. And at that point, you're not being nice out of genuine kindness. You're being nice because you want something in return, and it is their approval. And that is not real kindness, that's a transaction, and people can sense it. When your niceness comes with strings attached, it does not inspire respect. In fact, it invites something opposite, and that is being taken for granted. Respect does not come from bending over backwards. It comes from knowing who you are, standing on your ground, and being kind without needing anything in return. You have to literally own your niceness, even if it is not approved or acknowledged by others. Otherwise, your behavior becomes just a performance. Do not be so attached to the image of being a nice person that you actually fear losing others' approval. I know this might be hard to digest for some, but I want to be honest with you because I truly care about your long-term progress than your short-term comfort. Having boundaries protects your energy from leaking in every direction. If you do not have healthy boundaries, then you lose the position to choose what actually matters in your life. You start thinking that everything is equally important and end up saying yes to everyone and everything. When you don't have boundaries in place, you start prioritizing everyone else but not yourself. You give others the power to make decisions for you. As Greg McKeown rightly said, the ability to choose cannot be taken away or even given away. It can only be forgotten. Healthy boundaries are not about being selfish. It is about protecting what truly matters to you. It is about saying no to what drains you and saying yes to what contributes to your progress. If you struggle with setting healthy boundaries, reflect on the reasons why. Ask yourself a few honest questions to break free from this struggle. Do I fear losing friendships or people if I say no? Do I fear being judged for not participating? Do I have a fear of missing out? Do I feel guilty or made to feel guilty for setting boundaries? Do I fear losing approval when I say no? Write your answers honestly because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Because here's the truth, if you don't set healthy boundaries, people will mistakenly assume that they own your time and energy. And even before you know it, your purpose will get sidelined. Everything becomes about them, and you will be left depleted with no space for what actually matters to you. Setting boundaries commands respect because it shows that you respect yourself first. When you clearly communicate your limits, what you will tolerate, and what you won't, you send a message that your time, energy, and your well-being is valuable. And most of the time, people respond to that clarity. And when you consistently uphold your boundaries, people start to take you seriously. Think of it like this. When you don't lock your door, people walk in whenever they want. But the moment you start locking your door, they pause, knock, and wait for permission. The same applies to your emotional and mental space. Boundaries teach others how to treat you, and in doing so, they cultivate mutual respect. So learn to say no, and remember how people react to your boundaries is their responsibility, not yours. And really, what's the point of having people around you where you are only accepted for saying yes to everything? Respectful relationships honor your no just as much as your yes. Sometimes, no matter how kind or respectful you are, if someone has decided to disrespect you, your efforts won't matter. And when that happens, it is not a reflection of your self worth, but a reflection of their inability to value it. If your efforts to remain kind is met with disregard or disrespect, it is not weakness to walk away, but it is strength. Walking away from people or environments that harm your peace or your sense of self is a loud and clear act of self respect. It signals that you hold yourself in high regard and refuse to stay where you're not valued and won't participate in dynamics that drain or diminish you. On the other hand, staying in situations that harm you just because walking away feels difficult only invites more harm. It creates space for your boundaries to be crossed again. It gives others more reasons to dismiss you because they think you'll tolerate it. But removing yourself, whether temporarily or permanently, forces others to pause, and it gives the space that is needed for reflection. When access to you is no longer immediate or guaranteed, people are compelled to reevaluate their behavior, and they realize that your presence was never owned, it was a privilege. The longer you stay in places that don't value you, the more disconnected you can feel from yourself. You can start to shrink, second guess yourself, and normalize treatments that are not at all normal. People might call it being overreactive or say that you're being too sensitive, but it is only because your boundaries interrupt their comfort. Don't let guilt talk into staying places where you're already harmed. You don't owe prolonged access to anyone at the cost of your mental peace. And here's the thing, when you walk away, you don't need to explain, justify, or prove your reason. Silence can be your closure, distance can be your boundary. You don't have to fight to be understood by people, those who are committed to misunderstand you. Walking away is never dramatic, it is clarity, because that kind of energy always commands respect, whether people say it out loud or feel it in your absence. After you walk away from circumstances and people that disrespect you, it is very important that you create evidence of people, those who respect you. Why I'm saying this is because it is very easy for your mind to hold one negative incident and then expect the same kind of outcome based on your past experience. When that happens, you actually fall into the trap of victimizing yourself, assuming that everyone will treat you the same way, even if they are meeting you for the first time. This happens because you're holding onto one experience as a proof that only one kind of outcome is possible, and that the other, more respectful possibility does not even exist for you. But in reality, that is not true. It is just a misalignment of your attention. I have talked about this in my previous video on how intelligent people master the skill of placing their attention only on what serves them. And if you're interested, you can check it out. So by placing your attention on and being in environments that are respectful to you, you begin creating new evidence that you are being respected. And that becomes your new normal and minimum expectation you have from people around you. Most people already know what respect is and how to show it. So don't try to hold respect as a demand that you place on others, or don't try to even teach them how to respect you, because that often has opposite effect. If you have to explain someone how to treat you with basic respect, you're already investing too much of your time and energy in trying to control someone else's behavior just to get a certain outcome. And the very fact that you need to explain is already a sign that you're not being treated well. The truth is, most human beings do not need to be taught how to respect others. It comes naturally to us. So, when you find yourself receiving treatment that goes against this very natural instinct of human beings, it is best to remove yourself from such interaction. Any form of disrespect is just a projection of their own internal state, and it is not your responsibility to fix it. And do not wear the respect you receive from others as a badge of honor. Remind yourself that it is a very natural part of human interaction and not something rare. When you normalize it, others naturally offer it because you're not demanding it, you're simply being aligned with it. As much as it is others' responsibility to be respectful towards you, it is also your own responsibility to be respectful towards yourself and others. Make sure that you do not speak down upon yourself or others in your interactions. Also, avoid indulging in gossips and verbal arguments. Do not say things that are not aligned with your values. And even if you slip sometimes, take a moment to reflect on your behavior. That awareness alone can bring you back to alignment. So those were tips that will definitely help you to stay respectful towards yourself and others. Before you go, write down 3 action points that you are taking from this video. Thanks for watching and take care.